I know we have a jam-packed show, so I don't want to delay any further. Joining me again is someone who is new to the show. DC Patterson, who is who leads a team rather specializing in cargo theft losses and travelers investigative services division. A warm freight waves, what the truck. Welcome to you, DC. How are you, sir?
Great, Malcolm. Thanks for having me on today. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm looking forward to you being here, and thank you so much, and the entire team at Travelers for taking some time to be here. So, what this says, we've got a special segment for you all today. It's becoming an annual What the Truck tradition to wrap up the year with a look back at the trends to see how they played out. So, for a good portion of this year, we've been talking about cargo theft and how it's becoming the new normal. What are your thoughts specifically on this, DZ?
Well, unfortunately, what you said is pretty accurate. If you're a glass half full person,
Yeah.
then you're looking at things going, hey, the numbers have plateaued. If you're a glass half empty person, you're going, yeah, the numbers have plateaued, but it's a brand new normal and it's a high normal. We're looking at it, all the stats that are bearing these things out. Um, the international theft rings are the ones that seemingly are keeping these numbers high. And going into 2026, we want to look forward to cultivating a culture of hardening your supply chain and the various ways to do that. If we don't do that in the supply chain industry, then business as usual with cargo theft.
Now, DZ, can you please, for our listeners, explain what you mean by harden the supply chain?
Yeah, there's some gaps in the supply chain that we see that the thieves are exploiting, and we want to
Right.
get the folks to teach and train to this and live this as a full team sport. Everybody up and down the line cooperating together, taking the training, learning the tips, the tricks, and whatnot, and really just trying to be on defense all the time.
So I'm guessing that means that right now the supply chain may not be working so well. And where's the weakest link, you would say, DZ?
What we see as the weakest link based on the thefts that we investigate is the point of shipment. Um, Strategic theft, particularly, that's where it takes off at a lot of times, right? So you need a better culture of security along all those lines. Brokers have to be communicating with the shippers, the manufacturers, the carriers. Everybody's got to be dialed in at that point of shipment, or they're going to continue to be exploited by the bad guys. So again, supply chain security needs to be a mindset of everybody up and down that whole chain. Anybody that touches any piece of cargo needs to have that security mindset. It
No.
kind of sounds like common sense to most of us, but what I'm going to say is, once you develop these points to keep the supply chain safe, for goodness sake, don't put them on LinkedIn, right? The bad guys are good at going out and getting all this information that they can to find out what particular entities are doing, and they're going to exploit those if you put your solutions out there on LinkedIn or any other kind of an open source document.
Thieves are, in fact, no dummies. I mean, you tell them what you're trying to do, right? On these platforms, to your point, they'll just find a workaround. Now, my next question are any advice on how to prevent this breakdown from happening in the first place?
Yeah, most of it boils down to seemingly just communication. You got to have some folk. Everybody's got to be talking to each other again. There's some manufacturers out there that are very easy targets right now, and you think about it, like I'll mention dog food, for instance. It's easy to sell, and you wouldn't suspect maybe dog food as being a targeted commodity, but because of what I just said, it's very easy to move. So we've got to have folks at the point of shipment saying, "Hey, is ABC Trucking showing up here to pick up this load?" Yes, they are. And if anyone else, if any other carrier shows up, no matter what they say, if they're not ABC Trucking, that load is not let go from the point of shipment. And if there's any sort of doubt there, make some phone calls, verify the information that you got. Just verify who's coming to pick up your stuff at the point of shipment.
Now, I want to ask specifically because, besides being a colossal monetary loss, strategic theft can also hurt a brand severely in the long run, right?
Absolutely. If you think about it and your brand gets picked up and it gets back into the supply chain through some sort of a discounted means, what happens when that piece goes bad or there's an issue with it? And you think about the sale price of it, the unauthorized folks that are out there selling these things, it's going to damage the brand. It's going to damage relationships between the shippers, the carriers, the brokers. Just that communication piece is a big thing to kind of knock that down to not even an acceptable degree, but just knock it down to zero.
Let's talk about reefer breakdown, another scam that we've been hearing about this year. It's been called one of the most clever delay scams in trucking. Can you unpack this for us, DZ?
Yeah, so it's a very common tactic these days, and you think about how it's done. Shipments going from point A to point B. The carrier calls in and says, "Oh, my reefer broke down." They even may go out and get a receipt, buy a part that they said is broken down. That's buying them time, right? There's time involved in repairing that. There's time getting a part. If the breakdown has not really happened, then they're miles and miles down the road while you as the shipper may think that they're actually stuck in some location getting that repair done. These guys will even go as far as to take a picture of the receipt, send it in. It looks legit, but we know that it's not. And it costs a lot less money to buy that part for the reefer than what's going to be made on that stolen load of cargo.
By the time, I mean, of course, this is all figured out. The breakdown was a fake. I mean, they're long gone. This kind of buys them enough time to get away with it. This is nuts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, what should shippers, carriers, and brokers be doing to counter GPS spoofing specifically?
Yeah, GPS spoofing is something we've seen come in vogue as well over the last term. And we're suggesting to these folks, hey, along the route, geofence some spots. Think about how long it gets from to the travel time is from point A to point B. Geofence that location. If that location is bypassed, or if they get there in a much quicker fashion than you expected, something may be wrong. There are also other ways to track these things. And we don't recommend just putting in a single device into the load. Use something else. Get some redundant tracking. Even so far as to say, go with another manufacturer so that you can track these things independently. That beacon, that independent beacon inside the trailer is going to go a long way to helping you find out where your load is. We think you need to layer your tracking tools. Okay. And I know that some folks are content and happy on what they're doing now, but we just want to suggest that one little small step that hopefully will keep the cargo safe and get to its intended destination.
That's great stuff, DZ. I mean, so as 2025 winds down, we're reminded that we, obviously need to still be on alert for strategic theft and an ongoing trend I imagine that we'll be talking about heavily as we head into 2026. I want you to be well, man, be safe, happy holidays. And you definitely need to make a stop back on What the Truck in 2026. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I absolutely would love to do it. And I wish you the same on the holiday stuff.
Uh,
Everybody stay well and stay safe.
thank you again, DZ Patterson, Director of Travelers and Investigative Services. DZ, thank you again, brother.